You can support me by following my channel. 2022 Mercedes-AMG GT53 first test, the sporty daily one. The GT53 can go from everyday comfort to a hard-charging sedan at the turn of a knob or push of a button. Pros: ample cargo room, nearly zero turbo lag, AWD with rear drive bias. Cons: finicky capacitive controls, no glide mode. Options take you into GT63 territory. Although it remains ridiculous to call a four-door car a coupe, the 2022 Mercedes-AMG GT53 is nevertheless a useful sedan with traditional coupe-like performance. It may not have the ultimate predator instincts of its GT63 sibling, but the GT53 works just as well as a canyon carver as it does a grocery getter, and it takes just the turn of a dial or the push of a button to hone it for either task. Numbers first. Freshly updated for 2022, hence this test, the 2022 GT53 produces 429 horsepower with 384 pounds-to-foot of torque and rushes to 60 miles per hour in just 4.1 seconds. Once it's up to 60, the brakes will haul the GT53 to a stop in 111 feet. The power is effective but hard-working on account of this AMG's 4,611 pound curb weight. It still passes the quarter-mile mark in 12.8 seconds at 105.9 miles per hour. On the skid pad, expect 1.00 grams in lateral acceleration, while the car turned in a 25.4 second lap of our figure 8 course at an average of 0.75 grams. These are all good numbers, but what do they mean in the real world? They mean the GT53 is one very fast four-door, and you'll never have an issue keeping up with traffic, bursting from an entrance ramp at speed, or carving up your favorite back road. Its performance data isn't hugely better than that of the GT43, but that car launches hard and then trails off. The GT53 feels stronger overall. It's easy to achieve extra-legal speeds wherever you are. In fact, fortunately, the standard head-up display ensures you know exactly how fast you're going. The HUD is also handy for a quick readout of navigation instructions and other data. Mode time. In comfort mode, the GT53 is easily one of the most livable AMG models. The exhaust is civil, the suspension firm but not overly aggressive, and the powertrain responsive but not tense. It's also where the GT53 is most likely to deliver fuel economy, somewhere in the vicinity of its EPA-rated 21 combined MPG, due to relaxed accelerator response and being more reliant on the electric portion of the car's mild hybrid powertrain when moving from a stop. We do wish, however, that it featured the glide function from some other Mercedes mild hybrids, which shuts down the engine on the move but allows the vehicle to maintain a steady speed by using the belt-driven electric motor/generator. This no doubt would increase efficiency by a meaningful amount. Even in comfort mode, you can separately activate more aggressive settings for the exhaust, powertrain, and suspension, as well as deactivate the auto stop/start system. A given combination can be programmed into the individual setting once you've determined your favorites. All modes, including Sport, Sport Plus, and Manual, can be accessed via the touchscreen or on the fly with the dial on the right lower quadrant of the steering wheel. The manual paddles can be used at any time, in any mode, and the gearbox will return to automatic shifting by itself after a few beats, but left to its own devices. The 9G-tronic is a jewel of a transmission with quick shifts and intelligent programming that make it a great partner for tackling mountain roads. Outside of a dual-clutch transmission, they don't get much better for sporty driving. In Sport Plus, the GT53's AMG heritage really starts to come out. As one of our test team noted, it's shockingly easy to sit down, buckle up, and find and maintain the limits of this car. It's not explosive or intimidating in any way, like the GT63 can be, but just feels like a really solid sports sedan. In its most aggressive chassis settings, the GT53 is particularly planted and ready to rocket out of any corner, it has a good engine sound, punchy low-end and mid-range power, and virtually no turbo lag, said another of our test crew. Overall, it may not feel like a traditional AMG, but the GT53 has a personality and purpose of its own. It's happier than its big brother when deployed in the day-to-day grind, and it's more comfortable, too. It's not quite an AMG light, the GT43 is perhaps a more appropriate car for that moniker, but more an AMG with a lighter personality. This car's time to shine. And that's where the GT53 shines, in being a very livable four-door that's still a capable sports sedan. Despite its rakish roofline, the hatchback opening means cargo space and access is more than adequate, even if its 12.7 cubic feet of capacity doesn't sound like much on paper. The rear seats can be folded for more room, steering that's light and easy in comfort mode weights up in Sport and Sport Plus but never gets too heavy. If the AMG GT has an issue, and this is in all of the versions, it's that the interior relies too much on touch-sensitive, capacitive controls, particularly on the steering wheel. Adjusting cruise control speeds, for example, is accomplished by sliding your thumb along an indent. Sometimes, though, it struggles to register this request. Other times you can activate various buttons accidentally, as well as with the touch controls located near the cup holders when you retrieve or place items there. Ultimately, we have to imagine an owner would get used to the behavior and responses of the controls, but as always, it's worth pointing out that physical buttons, switches, and knobs, of which the GT does have a few, don't require a learning curve. There's just one final item to discuss, the GT53's price. The car starts at $103,650, while our test example topped $128,000 with options such as a Napa leather-wrapped AMG performance steering wheel, panoramic roof, cabin air fragrancing and ionization, AMG performance seats, 21-inch forged cross-spoke wheels, and night package, among others. If a well-balanced, very sporty, and rewarding daily driver that's still rare on the streets is what you're after, stop looking. But if you're more drawn to outright performance, and if you find the GT53 doesn't have quite enough grunt, our Cars as Tested sticker is knocking on the door of the roughly $140,000 GT63. And in this price bracket, what's 12 grand among friends?